Hi there, Jason here for the Hagbayon channel. Let's talk about writer's memorabilia and writer's portfolio. Join me. Like most writers, I like to keep track of my writing life. But it was a high school classmate by the name of Jamael Jacob. He's now a lawyer, who actually advised me to come up with a portfolio. Because at the time I was quite young, and I would stay at his place at UP Diliman and carry around I would carry around samples of my work as published in various magazines and newspapers, and I would also carry around my certificates as contained or placed in an envelope. So he told me to just come up with sort of a portfolio, and he even showed me a sample of his art portfolio because he's into visual arts. So I heeded his advice and came up with a writer's portfolio. So let me show this one to you, and you might wanna come up with your own if you are serious in writing or serious as a writer, and just make a simple portfolio. Now this one is my first one, and I actually have a second portfolio, but it's only sort of a continuation of this one. I like to maintain that the portfolio should be kind of a sampling of your works and of your writing life, something that could actually represent your writing life. Now here I actually included my high school diploma because at that time I was quite proud of being just a high school graduate, while having a hard time graduating in college because I was such a punk and couldn't finish my ROTC requirement. I wasn't the prepper that I am now at that time, so didn't like military training that time. So I was just happy to be a high school graduate. So it's here to actually commemorate that stage in my life. Now I also include certificates from workshops, and this one is from Linangan sa Imahen Retorika at Anyo. It signifies that I am a member of LIRA and that I finished the workshop, and it's signed by Becky Año Nuevo, Grace Benco, Virgilio S. Almario, now national artist. So there, I included lots of certificates here, even this Katibayan ng Paglahok. Because if you attend the LIRA workshops, it won't be a guarantee that you will become a member. So if you don't make it as a member, they issue this certificate, katibayan o pagkilala sa paglahok, bilang pagkilala sa kanyang paglahok. So this one is given for all those who finished it. Now this one is given for all those who actually qualified as members. Aside from certificates, I also include clips from newspapers or press releases where my name get mentioned as related to writing life. Now this is just a sample. I kept many of these clippings in a different in some other place. But this one is when I qualified for the script writing workshop of Ricardo Lee, the venerable Ricardo Lee. Okay, and this one is for Ateneo National Writers Workshop, where I was fellow in poetry. This one is signed by Binildo Santos, D.M. Reyes, while this one is for the UST National Writers Workshop, signed by Doc Ofi Di Malanta. So there, this one is a sample of a press release, clip, a cutout of a press release for the UST National Writers Workshop. There. Another certificate. This one is from Ricky Lee Workshop. Got this from. This was sent to me by our sort of a ringleader, Mayor Seymour Sanchez. This is already our Bicol-based writing workshop, Juliana Arejola Fajardo for workshop for Bicol writing. So, this one is for the IAS Writers Workshop. So there, you might wanna keep even your fellows' ID. I have lots of fellows or lecturers' ID. I still keep them in my memorabilia. There. More press releases. Okay, cutouts. This one is for the Iligan National Writers Workshop. Signed by Professor Ma'am Christine Godinez Ortega. Okay, shout out to Ma'am Christine. Shout out for Sir Rio, Ma'am Becky. Sometimes I would also include certificates for awards. This one is the Fellows Achievement Award for Juliana Arejola Fajardo Workshop for Bicol Writing. They give it to fellows who somewhat did well in their writing life after the workshop. Yeah, sometimes just an ordinary certificate I would also include here. This one came from DepEd. Yeah, when I was asked to judge said event. Oh, this one is memorable. This is vlogging workshop. Blogging and vlogging. Okay, 2006 when WordPress blogs and what else? Live journal blogs were quite in, and podcasting was just starting. And I would also include samples of my published works. This one is from Sunday Inquirer magazine. And just samples of my published works. Before Sunday Inquirer was a very important publication when they would still publish poetry. I think SIM is already defunct. Some pictures. I would also include some pictures. This one is also from the Sunday Inquirer magazine. I would also include some cutouts of articles by my mentors, like this one by Cirilo F. Bautista when he wrote about the UST National Writers Workshop. There. And some of my articles. Now this, I repeat, are just samples of my works. This one is Philippine Panorama. I'm now featuring Philippine Panorama. The poems that got printed at Philippine Panorama. The samples. Of course, pictures as well from workshops. Philippine Panorama articles. This one. The reason why I am really a good friend, I'm really good friends with Katone Israel because of this article. Pardon the noise outside because the kids are playing. Philippine Panorama Poetry. Now this is a check that I failed to encash because this is actually a cross check from Manila Bulletin. So as you know, a cross check is a check for a particular purpose. There. Philippine Panorama. Yeah, that's how poetry is actually laid out at Philippine Panorama during the early days. That's Teo Antonio. reading his poetry. Again, an article or column by Cirilo Bautista. Well, I got mentioned because I actually won second prize pala. At pala ang ginto. And he mentioned me. Thank you, sir. Articles from Philippine Panorama. This one is during the National Writers Workshop of UST. Aristos binhinang budhi. Philippine Star. The Young Star Goodwill Bookstores Writers of the Year. I was included there. Okay. Oh, I was very young. Chinese to Chinese. Philippine Star Poetry. Fresh ink. For young writers. Fresh ink for young writers. Brings back memories. The Sunday Times Magazine. Lacambini Sitoy was the literary editor during this time. By the way, Sunday Inquirer magazine had Ruel S. De Vera as poetry editor, while Philippine Panorama had the late Cirilo Bautista as editor. Dina Ventura was the editor. I think she's still the editor for the lifestyle section of the Daily Tribune. So here I am now featuring the articles that I wrote for the Daily Tribune, just samples. So you might wanna come up with a portfolio. This isn't, the best looking portfolio really. These are just cutouts, but somewhat good enough, at least for me at the time. Okay. For the the Daily Tribune. This one when I made a review of Forbidden Fruit. That really nice book. This one when I wrote about publishing via the internet. Because this is my high school picture, high school yearbook photo. This one is when I wrote about the Musicians Institute. I actually qualified for MI back then, but didn't really push through with my musical dream. Could have pushed through and became a rock star or something. And the Daily Tribune articles, sample articles. So you could include the original clips, or you could just photocopy. It's up to you. But me, I decided to just cut out the articles. Marami pala akong sinulat for the Daily Tribune. Ikot-ikot tayo. Kabayan newspaper. Okay, tabloid type. But it was really great that Kabayan was publishing poetry at the time. They paid me really well. This is my translation of the poem of Ed Cordevilla, one of my favorite poets. Philippines Free Press. Some poems that got printed at Philippines Free Press. Sa Philippines Graphic. Philippines Graphic. At the time, the editor for Philippines Graphic, literary editor, was Nick Joaquin himself. National artist Nick Joaquin. Nicomedes Joaquin. Oh, this is Mirror Weekly. Mirror Weekly. Editor was Mara Lanot. Ma'am Mara Lanot. Yeah, this one naman is Home Life magazine. So I even included Home Life. There, I was on my way to Bacolod when this photo was taken for the IAS National Writers Workshop. IAS Creative Writing Workshop, I mean. This is for Pilosopong Tasyo magazine. Pilosopong Tasyo magazine. Moist magazine. Moist magazine. Cirilo Bautista was the poetry editor. Silangan Shimbun. They paid me really well at the time. This is a Japan-based Filipino newspaper that printed poetry. Lakhala ang ginto. Yeah. Lakhala ang ginto. I really like Silangan Shimbun. Sana meron pang Silangan Shimbun. Tulay magazine. Okay, Tulay magazine for Filipino Chinese. Okay, people. I published there as well. Bicol Reporter. Local or regional newspaper. We also publish articles there. Yeah, like something like this. It's actually for the Tinagba. The local scene. This is Burak by Manoy Godet Calleja. So yan. Manoy Godet single-handedly pursued and made sure that there would be regular publication of Bicol literary content via the Burak. He would mail the Burak to people. It was a digest. It was a literary digest for Bicol literature. Bicol Mail, etc. This one is Bangrao. Yeah. As for some curious items, prizes, medals, trophies, I kept them in cabinets. This one is actually, where I also keep my clothes. Can you see that? Yeah. But I thought of, keeping my memorabilia here as well, so they would be quite secure. And so I won't see them all the time, lest they make my head swell or my ego swell. Well, here, as you can see, I have here some trophies and some medals. We can look at the medals one by one. You can see, there are medals. That one, another medal there. Anyway, there's my quill and my laurel. And being a swordsman, I have some something for my being a swordsman. And this one, the gunong, representing Philippine blade culture. My certificates are also here, and some other curious items, some old phones, an old camera, vintage camera. Okay, some cultural artifacts. There. So you might want to keep your medals somewhere nice and safe. By the way, that's my wife over there. So there, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you would also make your own portfolio and would also try to keep track of your writing life, and by doing the same. Jason here for the Hagbayon channel, so kindly also keep track of my vlogs, and that's my kid over there. Thank you, and thanks for watching.